Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a bit of a solo, easily distracted gaming. I'm Pat, and sadly today I'm not joined by Steve, but that's okay. We're going to have some fun with good old Elite Dangerous. I wanted to check back in with Elite Dangerous because I've developed myself a little bit in this game, and I'm a little bit more capable of holding my own in a combat situation, and we're at the perfect spot to test that out. I'll show you. I am flying in a Vulture, which is a really cool little ship. Well, I shouldn't say little, perhaps. If I can get you guys a camera shot of the ship. Yeah, here we go. Neato ship here. I'm a big fan of this guy. Cool looking bridge in there. Oop. Alright. I got a couple of class 3 pulse lasers up there. Give you a bit of a sense of scale of the ship. That's the cockpit. That's my seat. There's another like co-pilot seat up behind it. It's got a bit of a bridge kind of thing going on. And it's pretty awesome. So I'm going to hop back into the cockpit now. We're going to take off towards this high-intensity conflict zone. So I'm working on a community goal right now, which is protect against Senator Patrius. We're almost done with the goal. That's what that bar on the right is. And you can kind of see the progress here. I've contributed 2.4 million to the goal, and we're at defensive stage 5 complete. I will be getting 4 million on completion in addition to the 2.4 that I have already gotten from contributing. I am siding with the people of Quivira in this, which are opposing the Empire. Oop, and we're already under attack. I'm going to go ahead and target the guy that's attacking me. It's an asp. Okay. I'm taking a bit of a beating from this guy, but knock him out. So these class 3 pulse lasers do a lot of damage. So you can see in the lower left, his shields are getting shredded. I'm going to target his power plant now, which will allow me to punch through his armor to the most vulnerable part of his ship and blow him up without actually having to destroy his whole hull. Kind of trying to get away a little bit now. And it's not going to work for him. He is now dead. So the way that this money-making scheme works is in these conflict zones, you pick a faction, and I can do that in the functions window of my ship. I've chosen People's Quivira. And then all those little red dots down there are guys that when I kill them, I get a combat bond. And then I take that combat bond to a station that is allied with the people of Quivira. In this case, I have Godel Dock as the station I report to. Then I get paid for the bonds. It can be a little risky because there's risk-reward here, because if you die, all of your bonds go away. So you got to kind of decide how far you want to push it. But usually you can get... Death doesn't happen ridiculously fast unless you're in real deep trouble. So usually you can kind of decide where you're when you're gonna leave, and if you get into a little bit of hot water, you can manage to escape often. It's also worth noting that I am playing with a CH Products sort of poor man's sim cockpit. I say poor man's because I don't have the components bolted into a cockpit chair or anything like that, but it still is a pretty cool setup. I have a CH Products fighter stick USB, which is the stick that I'm using. It's got a bunch. It's got, let's see, 4 hat switches on it, and then 3 like just normal push buttons, including one of those is the trigger. And I've got a pinky trigger that I can use for like secondary weapons, and then I got another, what you could call a missile button that I could either set for tertiary weapons or what I use it for is boosting, because it's easier to fire the secondary weapons with the pinky trigger. Then in my left hand, I have a CH Products throttle USB. That's got another, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 hats on it. And then I've also got an analog stick that I have set to my lateral thrusting. I'm rotating it around now. And then it's also got 3 push buttons on my fingers that I set to things like jumping and stuff. And then finally, rounding out the sim cockpit is a pair of CH Pro rudder pedals, which have... he's getting away from me. I'm an idiot. I shouldn't be chasing him. CH Pro rudder pedals. Rudder pedals let me yaw left and right And then I've also got toe brakes on them, is what you would use them for in like a flight simulator. They're like you can push down with either foot. I use that for forward and then backwards thrusting, and so my throttle's freaking out there. It's primarily useful in landing because I can cut my throttle and then give it little boosts of throttle to land properly. But the rear thrusting is also useful in combat because I can cut my speed really quick and get behind them and then let up on it and shoot back off. So I am greatly enjoying playing the game with these products. And if you're interested in the game, the whole setup I got over a couple of years, probably cost around $300 to get everything. But I was rocking with just the fighter stick for a while and just the throttle for a while, and then recently got the pedals. Highly recommend CH Products stuff. I don't usually like to shill for hardware manufacturers, but they're great. It's great stick, great throttle, great pedals. The only downside to them is that you do have to have either a USB hub to plug all the parts into, or just 3 slots on your 3 USB slots somewhere on your machine to dedicate to them. But yeah, they're cool things. Gotta get my power right. All right. So these guys, these Cobras, they can be real annoying to deal with, because they're not too fast and they're not crazy maneuverable, but they have quite a bit of hull strength and they carry a lot of weaponry. This guy's going down real easy, but they take longer to kill than kind of what they feel like they're worth, because you only get 8,000 credits for killing them. But luckily, I can shred just about anything right now. The ship is not quite kitted out. I do need to get a better shield, and I need to get, there's a couple other things I could still upgrade, like sensors and stuff like that, a frame shift drive. But in general, I got the important stuff, which is the weapons and the power options. Alright, these guys are fun. Eagles. They're little, fast, maneuverable ships, and they're fun to fly because they're really fast and they can whip around. But boy, do they die fast. You would not want to bring one of these into this situation, as this guy is about to find out. And he's dead.
Target destroyed.
Getting targeted by somebody. It's an anaconda. So anacondas are sort of the creme de la creme. They are the most expensive ship in the game still. Big old ships, tons of weapons. To give you a sense of scale, like on the inside, they've got a whole thing of crew quarters and stuff. I mean, they're a little bit bigger than, like, they actually, should say, they're about the size of an aircraft carrier. But in space, when you're talking about, like, I've got a pretty big ship too, and talking about enormous spaceships, aircraft carrier size is kind of like a frigate. And they are bristling with weapons. Definitely the heaviest weaponry a ship can get in the game. They're not necessarily the best combat ship, but they're kind of designed for a multi-role, like, sort of Firefly sort of thing, where you might be doing some trading, you might be doing some combat. It's sort of your all-in-one ship. When AI fly them, they tend to let me get at the power plant, which, as you can see in the lower left, is at 22%. So even though I'm in a much smaller, more poorly armed ship, I can knock these guys out. And they are the big ticket item, the 36,000 credits. It looks like he had some friends, which are now trying to tear me to shreds. So I better put some power into shields. I'm going to do that backwards thrusting to sort of try to get around on him. These guys are real maneuverable. There he is.
Target shields offline. Under attack.
Knock him out. Oh! Yep. Oh, no. Capacitor died. Oh, boy, I'm getting into some heat now. Definitely do not want to go down, because I have quite a bit of bounties to combat bonds to turn in. I think that'll do him.
Target destroyed.
And it looks like the other guy's laid off of me a little bit. So now
Shields
gonna take a shot at this Asp. Asps are pretty cool exploration ships. It's kind of what they're designed for. They are capable combat ships, but they're some of the best bang for your buck when you're hunting in these conflict zones because, as you can see, very easy to take down. They're pretty slow and lumbering, not crazy powerful, and I still got 14,000 credits for them. So low risk, decent reward. Got another Anaconda up here. Oh, so yeah, if you're, I mean, hopefully nobody's worried about Steve. We just decided that we wanted to try and do some videos, checking back in with some of the games that both of us may have brought to the table, and figured that, you know, like, we don't necessarily both have to be on every single thing. And I thought Elite would be the perfect game for me to jump behind because it's a little bit harder for me to get my whole cockpit rig taken over where we usually record. So it's easier for me to just sit down with a headset mic and throw something together, taking a look at this stuff. And I was actually playing anyway, so I just decided to turn on a microphone and start recording. Because last time we looked at Elite, I did a lot of flying around and docking and not doing anything too interesting, if you've seen the game. And this is a little bit more fun stuff, or at least more interesting stuff to watch, I guess.
Target destroyed.
Gosh, now there's a Python. So Pythons are not as big as Anacondas, but they're definitely beefy ships. They're kind of the one step below an Anaconda. Look at all these guys, all my teammates. I am playing in the kind of private group mode. It's not, there's no, the only other players that can get in are people that are in the private group, and I've just got a couple of friends in the private group. So basically I'm only going to run into people that I'm friends with, as opposed to anyone, because I am still a little too chicken shit to just jump into the PvP. Because I still need to outfit this ship. I need to get a little bit better at combat. I've only been doing combat for the last couple of weeks. Oh boy. There he goes. He's done.
Target destroyed.
That was a 26,000 thing. So let's check. I have 386,000 credits to turn in, which for me is a decent haul for the amount of time I've been playing. Or on this sort of run. I've been kind of playing for most of the afternoon, but I've gone back a couple of times to turn in my bounties. My credit balance is extremely low right now. It's down to 259k, and my rebuy cost is 252k, which is something I don't really recommend. But that's just because I've been kitting this Vulture out as I've been playing today, so I've been putting a lot of money into it. Because I was watching a buddy of mine play, and he was just doing so much better than me in the ship that I was in, making a lot more money, a lot faster in this area. So I decided I really wanted to do it. This is the ship I used to be in, a Viper, that we're shooting at now. Really, really cool ship. It's very fast, reasonably maneuverable, but it can still mount 4 weapons, and 2 of them can be Class 2 weapons. So the way that the hardpoint mounting works in this game is that you've got 4 classes of weapons, but I don't know for sure, but I think certainly most ships can only equip a maximum of Class 3. The smaller ships can only equip a Class 1 weapons. And as the class goes up, the size goes up, and I can show you guys that when I go back to the station. We can talk a little bit more about the different kinds of weapons. But the Viper is good because it can mount a couple of Class 2 weapons in addition to 2 Class 1 weapons, so it's a really cool sort of mid-sized fighter. As you can see, like, my ship only has 2 weapons on it, but they're Class 3 mounts, so they're really big. Since it's more concentrated power and fewer weapons, I'm using less energy, because that, like, capacitor drain is a huge thing in this game. The capacitor is indicated by the ENG, SYS, and WEP little markers down in the lower right. As I right now, you can see by the pips below those bars that I have full power to my weapons, no power in engines, and 2 clicks in systems. Systems basically control your shields, and that really determines how powerful those things are and how quickly their capacitors recharge. As you can see, when I fire my weapons, my weapon bar drains, and when it gets to 0, I can't shoot anymore. So if you've got 4 weapons, I was using 2 lasers like this and then 2 beam lasers on a Viper. The beam lasers are kind of like phasers from Star Trek. They fire as long as you hold the button down. Super cool weapons, probably my favorite kind of weapon I've used yet, but they use a ton of power, especially when you're firing pulse lasers and beam lasers. Whoops. To do that. Oof, man, I'm getting pretty lucky with these anacondas and stuff. Power plant, buzz in. See, this is the worst. You don't want their faces towards you because that means that they can bring pretty much all their weapons to bear, and you're not getting shots at their power plant. So I want to get down under him like this. Oh, no, look at that. Oh, that was a good maneuver. Fudge. Oh, shit. Put some power to shields. All right, he's down. Oh, man, so now we're up to 488. Let's go see what this guy is that's shooting at me. It's a little dinky eagle. I want to try to bump my total up to just over 500,000. And then after that, we will go turn in... yeah. They are real fast, so you gotta be... Oh no, my engine... My juice. Even out of juice, though. He's done. Got 4,000 from him, so let's go find... Or I see a target out here that's... Yeah, this python will be a good thing to take out. This target is power plant. If you have any interest, like if this video and others have made you get interested in the game more, there's not really been a better time to pick the game up. You can get it from Steam now, or you can buy direct from Frontier Developments if you just search Elite Dangerous. Because coming later this month, it's going into beta, and then hopefully early next month is going to be the next big content update. So the last big content update added group content in the form of wings, which are like groups that you can get together, and then you can kind of share bonuses and stuff with each other, which is really cool. And then this coming month, they're going to be adding something called Power Play, which is expands greatly on the faction system of the game. And it's a great time to get into it. You can get your feet wet before Power Play comes out, and just kind of learn how to get into the game without having to worry about all that new stuff, and then learn how to take on some of the new stuff in Power Play. It's live servers. So I'm gonna head back to Gottle Dock to that sun to turn this stuff in. Gotta put my hard points away. Actually, before I do this, I should jump out into this this camera and see if it'll work. Very curious. Okay. I want to see if I can deploy my hard points, because it's really cool looking. Ah, no, it won't do it. It won't work. Oh, well. It's a shame. The debug camera is pretty cool, but
Frameshift drive.
there's a few, like, I kind of wish they would let you switch control back to your ship once you've got your camera angle set. Maybe you can, and I just don't know how to do it.
Engage.
Alright, so, this video will just be another 45 minutes while I get there. Luckily, I can travel faster than light. Look around the cockpit a little bit. See some of this awesome sauce. Sun back there on the left. Lights are on. I don't know what that... It says lights up there. I think I have them off. Can turn your lights on and off. Ugh. So what we want to do is, as soon as this gets to 6 seconds left, we want to hold it there. So I slowed down a little bit early. There we go. So we want to hold it at 6 seconds remaining, because that is the speed at which you can sort of slow down and prepare for entry. We also want to fly towards the planet, because the docking port on the station is facing the planet. So we want to come into the station's instance from the direction of the planet, so that we don't have to fly all the way around the station, because this is a specific kind of station that is a pain in the ass to fly around. It's very easy to get lost. So come around like this and slow down to under 1 million meters a second and drop out of warp. We're still not facing it exactly, but it's just down there. It's pretty easy to see. See something. Chip's lights on right? Yep, looks like they are. Huh. Interesting. Let's get a real cinematic shot. Bum. 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 I don't know. I think this stuff is pretty fucking awesome. But enough of that. Goddle dock. Let's request docking.
Docking request.
There's some weird station names. Like you get stuff like Goddle dock, which is probably something, a character from something that I'm not remembering, some classic literary character that I've never heard of or don't remember. But it's a weird name. Then you also get stations that have names like George Lucas, which makes sense, but also it's kind of weird. And then you also get stations like one called Cabrera Station, which I really hope is a Kickstarter backer named station that is named after the fantastic first baseman from Detroit, because that would be awesome. I'll give you guys a quick look of something while we're in the station too, because it's really cool. And cut the throttle, and this is where I use my pedals to kind of boost around. Use my lateral thrusters to get right spot, and then gently set her down. There we go. So, I'm going to pop out into the debug camera. We're going to take a look around the station, because that's pretty cool. So, here is my ship station. Oh. There we go. Right down on the ground there. See my ship on the station. Then we can look up at the rest of the station. As you can see, I think. Let's see if I can get over there. I don't know. This would take quite a while, but I'm pretty sure that that's a buddy of mine's ship sitting on the pad over there. It's quiet in here. There are all a bunch of landing pads you can look at. I love the scale of everything. If you look at everything is just done to such impeccable scale, because if you kind of take a shot like this, in fact, let me get a little bit closer. If you look, you can see my cockpit and the chair in there. You kind of compare it to like those trucks that are driving around, or like if you look up and compare that to the doors or the control tower up here. It's really cool that it looks pretty well to scale. And, you know, some of the textures on this stuff gets a little lower detail when you get close, and you can tell there's not a lot of stuff inside, but in the cockpit of your ship, it looks just stunning. And it certainly looks great here, too. So let's get back in the ship real quick. I'm going to turn in those combat bonds. Then we'll pop into outfitting for a second and show you some cool stuff, and then we will call that a video. Let's take a look at the bulletin board and take a look at this one more time. Oh, look, it's so close to being done. Still in the top 40%. 3 million credits earned. Hangar. Getting spun around. So outfitting. Here we get a nice view of the ship. You can see the hardpoint deploying animation that I wanted to show. It's really cool looking. The view of the ship. If you can see that gun, compare that gun. It's like the size of a few men. It's a big ass gun. You can see it gets really apparent when you compare it to something like. Oh, I guess it's not going to show me. The Class 1s, though. The Class 1s, if this is the size of this gun, the Class 1 is like this big. And it's pretty dramatic when you mount Class 3s on something for the first time. So I guess we'll talk real briefly about weapons. There's a bunch of different kinds of weapons. We've got pulse, burst, and I gotta have some beams here. Beams. And then within each kind of weapon, those are just the lasers. There's also kinetic weapons too. But then you've got these different kinds of mounts. So this is a fixed mount. That means you have to line the front of your ship up with your target and fire it, like hit it head on, like something like you would expect from like an airplane, or if you've played X-Wing, something like that, like your laser cannons. There's no guidance to them firing, and they're really energy efficient. And their rate of fire is sometimes higher, but I think anyway, I'm not positive on that. But they are, and they're also cheaper, but they're harder to use. Then you've got gimbaled weapons, which is what I use because I'm a scrub, where they are on a gimbal. Then the computer will target things for you if it's kind of within your near kind of the center of your screen. It'll track a target a little bit for you, so that they can sort of be flying up and above you, and you can keep shooting them as they fly above you. And then we've got there are also turreted weapons that have this indicator. A turreted weapon, you put it on your ship, that thing, you can tell them to either only fire at your target, cede to your control and become basically gimbaled weapons, or fire at will. If you tell them to fire at will, they'll just shoot at anything that they can see that is an enemy. Then you've also got like different kinds of weapons. We've got the pulse, burst, and beam. Pulse lasers fire quickly. Burst lasers fire in like a sort of semi-auto 3-round burst. And then you've got beam lasers, which are like Star Trek phasers. They just fire as long as you hold the button down. Those are thermic weapons. They're better against shields. There's the kinetic weapons like multi-cannons. That's just a big Gatling gun that shoots really fast. There's cannons, which fire big, huge shells. Railguns, which I haven't tried yet, but I really want to. It's kind of exactly what it sounds like. Fragment cannons, which are more like shotguns or flak guns. They're kind of hard to hit with, though, but they do a lot of damage if you can catch someone with a big face full of them. There's missiles, particle or plasma accelerators, lots of cool different weapon stuff. So one of the cool things about this game, because then outside of the weapons, got utility mounts, which I have little shield boosters on that make my shield stronger. Got internal compartments, tons and tons of internal compartments. All kinds of junk can go in here. You can pick between different alloys for your bulkheads, which affects your armor rating. Power plants give you more power to shields and stuff. You can change your shield generator, which affects its capacity. Even this stuff that doesn't seem like it would matter, like sensors and power distributor and life support, those little throwaway things that you wouldn't think about. Life support, if you upgrade it, it gives you more oxygen for if your canopy gets cracked. And believe me, it can and will get cracked. So it's important because like you could be in a combat zone, canopy gets cracked. You've got 5 minutes of oxygen to get to a station. If you upgrade it, you might be able to get a half an hour of oxygen. Distributor, that is for your capacitor. It affects how quickly you can fire your weapons, or rather for how long. Sensors actually have an effect on your sensors, so you can see things from further away with the sensor upgrade. So yeah, this stuff is super, super, super cool. Lots and lots of things to dive into. One of the great things about the game in general is that there's not necessarily like one straight answer. Like people have theory crafted it, but there's a lot of change. Sorry if I'm beeping. There's a lot of room for kind of figuring out what you want to do, which I really, really, really like. I should put a paint job on this thing. Oh no, I don't have any paint jobs. You have decals though. Put a sick skull on it. So yeah. Also that buy game extras thing, it's just for cosmetic skins. Anyone notice that? Don't worry about it. But yeah, that's another look at Elite Dangerous. Hope everybody enjoyed it. We'll look more at this game when Power Play comes out. We'll check out some of the new mission system items. And then hopefully down the road as they introduce more stuff like multi-crewed ships and stuff, we'll take a look at that kind of thing too. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I know Steve's not here, and I know that makes it less good. But I certainly had fun explaining some of this stuff and showing some of this stuff off. And I hope that you guys will join us again for when Steve does one of these. And he may have one that goes up before this. I don't know, but we'll be back together again on Friday, and this will not be solo videos. Will not be a super regular thing. If they become a super regular thing, then there'll be additional things that we post on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thanks a lot, guys.